What's up, guys? Real Some Cheesy here. We're now only 12 days out. Very hype, very exciting, of course. And today I kind of want to talk about like the original trio to kind of, I guess, round out this little villain saga. And by that I mean like Asuka, of course, probably the final villain I'll talk about. I might touch on Bedman or like Raven in a bit, just because I think they're very interesting. But of course, Asuka, Soul, or Frederick, Asuka, Frederick, and Aria. Just because those three characters, at the end of Strive Story Story Mode 1, they kind of all had like a good conclusion, right? I mean, Frederick had the Flame of Corruption ripped out of him, Soul, bad guy, quote unquote, died. Aria is just kind of chilling, and Jacko, right? Like, she's just like, I don't really want to get out of here, you know? I've lived my life, I've seen my fair shit of bad stuff, so I'm okay, I'm content. And then, I mean, Asuka's currently on the moon, pursuing his dream of starting a radio station, right? But I mean, if out of any of those, you gotta see Asuka come back at some point. I mean, he currently has access to what, the Flame of Corruption, the Tomb of Origins, right? And like the Tomb, that's kind of like an important thing, right? It allows you. I like to think of almost like a computer, right? Like again, the backyard's like a software, and like it's just like a computer allows you to access and understand everything back there and use it easier. So we're definitely going to need that, especially when we're exploring into the idea of demi-humans, origin of magic, all that stuff. I mean, it's literally called the Tomb of Origin, right? And again, the Flame of Corruption and the Scales of Juno are like tied to that Adam and Eve information bodies. So again, if there's any like massive threat in the world, we're going to need the Flame of Corruption back. Of course, it'd be interesting if they like, you know, if we passed it to someone else. Maybe if like we passed it to Sin, right? Like maybe he takes the mantle of like Soul bad guy, and not literally. It's not like, you know, he's gonna be Sin bad guy or anything, but maybe we give it to him or something. But yeah, it's just a very powerful force. I would like to see used at some point. That would make him so powerful, right? Because he has the blood of Juno, and he would get the Flame of Corruption. That'd be crazy. But might just go back to Frederick, of course. But I guess yeah, I'll talk about Frederick. Obviously, the main character. I don't think it'll be very prevalent, right, in the story mode 2. Same with Jacko and Aria. Jacko, I mean, she just wanted to like be herself. She had Aria inside her, so she's good for now. I doubt she'll probably play any major role in the future. Maybe not. We'll have to see, right? She's the one I'm least, not like hopeful, but like, she just has a good conclusion. She just wants to vibe. And same with Soul Bad Guy. Like, he's vibing, but I mean, if trouble calls, he's gonna be on it, and we know he can still fight. Like, it was stated, like, yeah, he had the Flame of Corruption ripped out of him, but he could still, like, turn into a gear if he needs to. And, you know, like, he's not immortal or anything now, but he can still turn into a gear. He's still very strong. He's still a very powerful fighter, right? So, I mean, even if he doesn't get the Flame of Corruption back, he's definitely going to be someone that, if duty calls again, he'll come. And, again, if something's, like, wrong with, again, Dizzy, Sin, Kai, of course, he was more than willing to help him out, right? But of course, more interesting one out of all of them is Asuka, because again, he has Tomb of Origin, Flame of Corruption. He's on the moon, and like he's gotta come down at some point. Like, we know Frederick has a spaceship to the moon, so I guess it'd be a good way for like transportation up and down, so he could come down at least once more time. But again, he wants to stay up there. But if we're gonna have another threat, if we know that Happy Chaos is trying to like be the chosen one and like something like that. He's honestly like Jesus. Like, I've been thinking of that. He's like, again, he's like the broken Messiah who's chosen by this higher power, right? So that's the whole thing. But we're gonna need the Tomb of Origin. And I want to see Asuka and again Happy Chaos have that long chat that they were talking about, them catch up, because really they were just, like, they saw each other a few times. So it was like fighting and, you know, I guess magic beaming wars, right? Where they like were trying to both hack into systems, but I mean, it'd also be good to see, you know, again, Cronus as well, and just have, like, I want to see Cronus have a long conversation with Happy Chaos as well, and Asuka, but maybe if we get them all three to sit down, that'd really be something. And, again, if we're trying to make peace, because the Conclave, I feel like, while they did go about things wrong, they were definitely seeking power, I do think that they are good, right? Like, they really were trying to do good, and I hope we do learn more about maybe what drive them, what was a motivating factor into them trying to bring back justice, get all this power. Maybe it was to stop this inevitable threat that they knew was coming, right? But just have them all sit down. You know, maybe Happy Chaos is like, you know, you guys need to work together and make a better future. And then, you know, maybe they do. But yeah, I feel like Asuka has to come down at some point. And even if it's not in this story mode, I hope we at least get a nod maybe at the end, right, we see him come down, maybe we see Frederick go up, and we see a threat that we know he has to come back for. Maybe we just hear him on his radio station. I hope we do get, like, that's one thing I do hope in this new story mode is, like, towards the end, hopefully, because it would be a little surprising to me still if it's only behind the scenes. Like, again, I think at least half of it, if not more, will be behind the scenes, and a little bit will be after, but I hope we at least get, like, some nods to his radio station, because, I mean, that's just funny, right? I'd like to see that, but, I mean, I don't think we'll see him, but, again, he's such an important figure. He doesn't really have any direct ties to our main cast. The only two really are, like, Baiken, of course. Well, Baiken's discover that her hatred, her ire lies more in actually Happy Chaos, that man. I mean, I'm sure she still wants to, you know the gear maker, the guy who actually made the gears, right? Because it was the gears who destroyed, her village, and have a chat with him. Because we know Anji's obviously met that man before, but I'm sure Baiken would like to meet him, and I'd like to see that conversation, and then, again, meet up and talk at some point. If Ino comes back, of course, I want to see Asuka help her. Like, she had a good conclusion, right? But again, she's the idea of a better hope, better future, and I'm very happy that, again, Happy Chaos is very dedicated to her cause, but again, Asuka was equally dedicated, but he just took too long because he had millions of other things going on, right? So, again, if she comes back, I want to see him help that conclusion. Raven's another big one. We really don't know what's up with Raven. I am a little doubtful that we'll see Raven in this story mode, to be honest, or like at all, just because he kind of it was just such like a weird thing, right? Like, he's such like an important character in like the lore, and like we still don't know much about him. We know he was born, died, suffered the worst pain, he's now immortal. He's probably a demi-human, right? So that would explain that, but obviously we know that he's very loyal to Asuka, so what exactly caused that loyalty, right? Like, maybe it is because he's very powerful, very knowledgeable, but why out of the billions of trillions of people that Raven has met, why is he so loyal to Asuka, right? And, why are we ever going to see that second Jacko, the actual Happy Chaos unit? That'd be interesting to see. So I just would really like to see him in the story. And the other character too, I guess, is of course Testament. While they were not actually made by the gear maker themselves, they were made by like the government. It's like, and the government like fucked up, right? I mean, the government made a much weaker gear. Then of course Justice revived them, and then they became one of the most powerful gears, right? But I'm sure Testament also, again, being the actual person who came up with Gears, Asuka, Testament I'm sure would love to meet them, talk about them, and if we're also going into, again, the coexistence of humans and Gears, who better than the guy who actually made Gears himself, right? Who's better than him to be like, hey guys, like, I made Gears, but these were based off humans, these were based off animals before I made them Gears. Like, yes, they're stronger, yes, they look different, but before I did that, these were real living organisms. So yeah, again, I think Asuka's way too important to keep out. I really hope we just get like a nod. Again, Soul and Aria, I'd like to know what they're up to, right? I'd like to see how maybe get some hints of how they're going to fit into the story, but out of anything, at least towards the end of story mode 2, I'd really like to get a nod of why Asuka's going to come back, like what maybe his role are, maybe some more characters, like I said, maybe Raven comes back, maybe we know Ino comes back, maybe we see that Testament or Baiken or even Faust or May or anybody really wants to go see Asuka. Like, just make him so that we know that he's going to come back, because he's the biggest like villain of this entire story. He's one of the biggest characters in all of Guilty Gear. I want to see him playable, and if he never returns, he's probably not going to be playable for one, but even besides that, I think he still needs more of a conclusion. I mean, again, him making world peace, we still don't know the results of that. Like, he probably made world peace, right? But him making world peace and then, heading to space to protect the tomb for all of time, that's an okay finish for him, but I want more, damn it. So, yeah, that's all I got. Again, I'd really like to see Asuka, basically, in this new story. I'd really like to see what's up with Jacko and Frederick, and if we, are their stories done? Are we going to see any more of them? And again, not like necessarily see the 3, but just get hints at and like possibly directions and roadmaps for why they would come back, and motivations for them to come back, of course. But yeah, like I said, 12 days away, exciting. I mean, under 2 weeks, almost 10 days out. Got as we get closer, I got a few special things planned, of course. But yeah, as always, I really appreciate you guys always tuning into these. Love y'all a lot, and hey, take care.